Hi, this is Alice from Hunter College in New York City, coming to you Dallas, Texas at the EarthX conference to represent Youth for Climate Restoration and talk about the elephant in the room. I'm also met with Jeff. Hi.
Hi, Alice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Could you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jeff Lambden. I'm a CEO, founder of a company called Sea Change Fuels from Brunswick, Maine. And what we do is we've managed to develop a drop-in diesel fuel that can cut carbon by over 50%, almost 60%, and drop particulates about 90% used in high-speed, medium-speed diesels.
That's fascinating. How did you come to create this company?
Interestingly, the company was founded by survivors of a failed biodiesel project in northern Maine. But we realized that we were onto something when we were looking at a way to avoid having the waste, which is glycerol, from biodiesel, and realized that we could blend it back into the biodiesel as a value-added additional product. And so we actually managed to land a National Science Foundation SBIR grant to get that done, and since then we've been growing it. We now have a patent portfolio of 5 patents in the United States and 2 in Canada, and we are patentable in the EU.
Wow, that's incredible. What was your background prior to creating
I was a
co-founding?
professional cat herder.
Cat? Really? That
I mean,
doesn't seem related.
I don't think you get paid for that, but I just have a knack for being able to find people with amazing capability and talent and acknowledge that and connect them with other people with same and come up with a focus to take all that talent and make it into something that's value added and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so what are your next steps for your company so far?
So one of the things we've done, we've got an amazing team of very, very experienced people who are been operating in the world of multiple 9 and 10-digit companies, and it's a very small group. And our next step is that we're ready to step into sort of a large-scale, multi-vessel, multi-engine pilot testing. So we've done all of our earlier research and development work with Maine Maritime Academy. We've got over 1,600 hours of, testing and data collection. It's now ready to take to, let's call it the real world, because we've learned, especially in the maritime community, just because you did it in a university doesn't mean it counts.
Right.
So the question they get asked, well, that's very nice. Will it work in my engine on my boat?
Right.
But we're looking at, just to give you a sense of scale, what maritime for us is. High-speed diesels, medium speed, are used in tugs, ferries, workboats, towboats, obviously fishing vessels, lobstering. We're in Maine. Lobstering's big, and then expands into some of the inland waterways, Jones Act vessels, and even some of the transatlantic smaller vessels, such as a company called IMSKIP, which is based in the Northeast and services the new open Northwest Passage and travels all the way to Norway.
Could you tell us more about how the market is in regards to diesel substitutes, especially in like urban areas with high population concentrations?
I think the fairest thing, because I'm not an expert, is to say it's the unknown. It's a constantly changing, especially when we're looking at things like carbon credits.
Gotcha.
But we still have a RINs program through the U.S., and they just introduced something called 45Z, which is a producer's kind of a credit program. And both of those are in the process of being shaken out a little bit, exactly how they impact. We are not the original producer of the biodiesel content, for example, but we create an emulsion. This is where the patents come in that uses the biodiesel, the glycerol, and the ultra-low sulfur diesel or a low sulfur marine gas oil and a surfactant package to make it all work.
Gotcha. And did you have to partner with any food company or wherever they collect waste management in order to recycle this oil for this
So
fuel?
for us specifically, no, though, I guess the way to look at it is that our initial sort of early prototype go-to-market company is a small biodiesel company in Portland, Maine Standard Biofuels. Thank you to them. They've been a champion of ours all along. And they actually make all of their biodiesel from waste vegetable oil. So they have a sort of a subsidiary company of their own that goes around the greater Northeast, I think actually all the way down to Georgia, to collect waste oil, and then they bring it back up to Maine, process it into the biodiesel that then is part of our value-added product.
I see. I don't know too much about Maine. Could you tell me why Maine?
We love it.
Okay.
It's a very maritime state, of course. Well, we also have
Sure.
blueberries. Um, Best blueberries ever. And it's a state that has a 300-year history of innovation and invention.
Okay.
It's a very friendly state for that. We have some uncommon organizations, such as the Maine Technology Institute, that provides grants and no-load loans, of which we've taken full advantage of over the years.
Okay.
They also have services that help you get things like SBIRs and STTRs. And then we're the home of amazing organizations in the maritime space, such as the Bigelow Lab for Ocean Sciences, which we have an MOU, University of Southern Maine, and it goes on from there. So it's a very friendly state for early stage developing organizations.
That's
companies.
awesome to hear. Yeah, and has Sea Change spanned to other countries? And if so, which ones have been like your primary partner?
So while our focus right now is getting these pilot projects up and underway here, sort of in the Northeast, particularly New England, we actually have been developing conversations with the EU, particularly sort of the northern part of the EU, and we've had some reach outs from connections in Ukraine. So we're cautiously excited about that. We've participated in a program called Port Excel,
Okay.
which is in Rotterdam, and it's an accelerator competition for companies in the maritime blue economy space, of which we are clearly sort of an infrastructure level company. As a fuel company, we're still sort of on the quote unquote dirty side of things, because if you're doing some of the more magical things that are coming out in data and underwater vessel data collection capabilities, you still need to get those technologies out to sea. You want to run them out on vessels that are greener than they used to be. You also have a huge market in the wind environment, so you have offshore service vessels, all of which are diesel.
Right.
So those are ways of in steps greening the economy. And in the maritime and energy space, we offer something that's less risk than an entirely new fuel because we're grounded in a traditional technology.
Okay. Yeah, you had mentioned wind power. There's also solar power and nuclear power. What do you have to say with these renewable sources for fuel?
We help get us to where the future is going to be, and I don't think any of us are going to be able to pick a winner.
Okay.
And I suspect that we will find that the winner is going to be a distributed range of different kinds of energies. We're going to see, I suspect we'll see a nuclear resurgence of certain scale, certainly wind and solar. And we have to look at this globally, not just North America or
Right.
the United States right now. Europe is much more receptive to trying new technologies, less risk adverse.
I agree.
They're more receptive to seed oil products. So ours is basically would be in the category of an advanced biofuel. So we think probably one of our earlier steps will be to Europe. But right now we're staying focused. Let's make sure that we get this done correctly before we try and expand it.
I love that. Yeah. And for our youth at home, what would you say are the positions or jobs for sustainable companies like Sea Change that are most needed right now?
People who are very comfortable or want to become more comfortable stepping outside of boundaries. That the thinking that is needed needs to be creative, that it needs to be just different, being willing to sort of throw an idea out there and be able to step back from whatever gets thrown back at you, because that's what kills creativity and entrepreneurism. So the entrepreneurs are not always the ones with the best ideas, they're the ones who get up the most. And they're the ones that when they get knocked down, they're the one that stands up, because that's what they are as entrepreneurs. It's probably one of the best DNA gifts you can get.
Yeah, creativity is like a crucial trait in aspiring engineers and innovators as well as entrepreneurs. So, which out of this category would you say is most needed right now?
I'm a firm believer in STEM education,
Okay.
but I think that needs to be balanced with as my wife would say, reading across the curriculum. Reading and writing are key. It's there are some amazing tools. We use Claude on a regular basis, but to evaluate whether Claude or any of the other AI agents work well, you have to have a grounding in good language capabilities, whatever your home language is.
Right. Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And lastly, do you have any words of wisdom for our audiences at home for those who might aspire to have your kind of position in the future?
Just keep at it. So I wish I had discovered much earlier how much I love this space of being in clean tech. For me, entrepreneur, find something that you enjoy doing. It's not for the rest of your life. When your work environment dictates what your goals need to be, it's time to move on.
All right, yeah. I think we'll end it off at that. Thank you so
Well,
much for
thank you
your
very
time,
much, Alice.
Jeff.
Really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
thanks to the elephant in the room.
Yay. Yes.